This conference will now
Material
be recorded.
management. So SAP MM is nothing but material management.
Okay, sir.
So SAP is nothing but system application product in data processing. So what do you mean by this material management? So we will be learning. So what is SAP? SAP is nothing integrated with the help of SAP or ERP, and it has the MM. So for all these modules, FICO is the basis of the SAP. That is the basement of all the other modules of SAP. Okay. Now, what do you mean by SAP? So why I need to use SAP software only when it comes to the companies? So when it comes to the business. So now, can you tell me what are all the kind of businesses, the levels of businesses do we have?
Uh, Sir, the levels of business in the sense like in inside the business, what and all the levels are there, sir?
No, normally, so how do like we come and we when it comes to the business, we will be consider them into the four level, so four category, correct?
Yes,
So do
sir.
you have any idea what are those? Can you tell me?
Sir, is that like product?
No, it can be anything, not related to product only. It is one business. So it might be either the category of that will be represented as a what. Say for example, if I take a small vendors company, local vendor company, so or a business. So what do you consider them as? Now, if it comes to Reliance or Tata, what category you do you consider them as?
Sir, they comes under many. They are used like Tata means they are like many product lines are there, sir.
Okay. So means like I'm asking under what scale they come. If it is small, if it is like
Large, sir.
Reliance or
Large, sir. Large, sir.
yes. So when it comes to the types, categories of the business, we will consider as a scale, correct? So what are all the scale of the business do we have?
Small scale, medium, and large, sir.
Okay, so we can also consider now as a micro scale. Micro and smaller kind of, but micro is smaller than the small scale business, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how can you bifurcate this? Means how can you say Tata or anything is a large scale, or any local vendors, the small company they come under as a small scale? How do you bifurcate them?
Can you come again, sir?
See, if I have small scale, large scale, and the middle scale and the micro scale business. So if I say
Yes.
Tata is a what kind
Yes,
of
sir.
scale?
A large scale, sir.
It's large scale. So how do you
Yes,
say
sir.
that is a large scale?
Sir, they are producing many products as well as they are in many countries. In India, there is like many divisions are there, sir. So,
Mm-hmm.
like normally, if we say like is if it is a small business, it's easy to maintain all the things in uh, like in a note or something, sir. If it is comes in large, so we need some software to maintain all the information, sir.
Huh. Means now you are talking about the software. I'm not talking about the software. I'm talking about only the scale of the business. Now, how do you say Tata is a large scale? I now I will say it is a small scale.
Sir, but
Hmm.
the business is running through the large cities
Hmm.
and countries. So it's like
Okay, so if it is if the branches or the say company has in a different city and different country, then you consider them as a large scale.
yes, sir.
No.
And the product also should be like vast, and the brand.
Brand and all won't come here. So brand you just take it from out your mind. Brand can be anything. Today a small company can be a big, that brand can be larger. Correct. So South India has different types of brands who people like. North India has different types of brands who people like. International brands also we like. It is not the matter of brand. So how do you represent them as a scale of the business? See, large scale business is nothing but which have a more employees, see, and then employees and which has the complex management hierarchy. So now what happens? Tata. Tata is it doing only one type of business under the Tata group?
No, sir, they are doing many businesses.
Many businesses means their communication under one group as a mass, correct?
Yes,
So
sir.
so say for example, let me take I have started some business today, a new business I have. So if I am starting, I don't start immediately large, correct? So I'll start with a small. In the sense, I'll have very less employees and I'll be having very less hierarchy of management. Say for example, so even if you say that raw material consumption only, if you start your procurement, so what you do is like you may bring the raw materials to your company, means you procure the raw materials to your company. So the consumption of that and planning the inventory is under the small, means you don't have many things to do in a small scale, correct? So it will be easy for you to manipulate my business, summarize my business if it is small. So but when you are growing, so when you have a large, so when there is a many hierarchy under one business. So if, for example, Tata group is one which has a different hierarchical scale of the business under the groups. So what happens here, everywhere they require the employees manpower, they require the organization level to be manipulated. So what happens is like, so whenever it is increasing the more and more the employees and complex of the management, that time I may not require a small software which will help me to load the en masse data. Okay. See for example, if I take mobile, so in mobile, even though if it is 120 GB or 60 GB, is that will be a compatible as a computer?
No, sir.
No, mobile is a mobile. Still, whatever you may possible to take a PDF notes in your mobile, or you may do any Word documents, any MS Office documents, anything it might support into your mobile. Still, but the accuracy level of that one, you don't use laptop as a mobile or mobile as a laptop. Am I correct? So you use
Yes,
laptop
sir.
only process the large number of data. Say for example, if I wanted to start my meeting now, go to meeting. So is it possible I can do with my mobile? Even though if I purchase, now you take, you told about the brand, no? Now I have a Apple which I have paid for 1.5 lakh something. Still, is it possible that I can do in my mobile only the meeting, the class I can do?
Mm,
Very
it
difficult.
it's very difficult to do it, sir. The lap
Correct.
is more compatible compared to phone.
Correct. So, such kind of, see, whenever you are increasing the level of management, so whenever the complex of management is increasing, then I may not require a small business, small softwares which might support the en masse data of my company. So that time I require a SAP. So SAP has a different modules. MM is one module. So we'll come across. So what do you mean by this SAP? SAP is nothing but a system application product in data processing. So SAP is the fourth largest software company in the world. Why this SAP we wanted to use, in the sense, whenever you want to process the details, means whenever you want to process the a large number of data, then you will be using such kind of software which will support in every level. So it provides the, means like SAP provides the R3 system in a business software. So R3, what do you mean by R3? Real time architectural three tier. So that I'll explain you in the further slides how that R3 will work. So but it also provides you to the end-to-end solution for financial, manufacturing, logistic and distribution. So what is happening here, in the sense, it will give you a end-to-end solution. So means there is no end. So for example, I may have some software, basic software I have, we consider. So what happens, normal basic accounting transaction I am doing in that particular software. So once I be done it, so for example, now GST been implemented. So GST is upgrading every day. So the taxes are being either decreasing nor increasing. The percentage has been different. The module, it has been changing every day. So what happens when the software, the person who develops and give to you, he is developed it, that's it. So after, if I wanted to do something more, again I need to communicate them. There is no end-to-end solution. So everything I wanted to do, in the sense, again and again and again and again, I need to implement it into the software. So that time what happens, it will become very difficult for me to use this kind of large complex data. So to manipulate, to mechanize this large or the complex management data, that time we will use this SAP. Okay. So what do you mean by SAP? The SAP is nothing but system application product in a data processing. So data processing is nothing but what, like you process the data. So either it might be a small data or a big data, whatever that you have, you are going to use in that. So SAP is also one of an accounting and inventory software. So means completely it is been used to develop with your accounting formats. So either it might be any kind of accounting, either it might be finance or manufacturing, logistic, distribution, it can be anything. So those are all things can be done under the SAP. So SAP should always call as SAP only. That should never called as SAP. So why do I don't want to call SAP as a SAP? Because SAP were developed by the German company. So German peoples. In the German language, sap is nothing but called as pig. The word sap represent the pig. So they don't want their software to call as a pig. So they say do not call them as a SAP, to call always as a SAP. That is the main reason every word has a punctuation here. So that has been represented. You pronounce individually, don't pronounce together. It is not single word, it is a it is not one word, it is a single word of every letter. So that is why we call this one as SAP, not SAP. So SAP is nothing but system application product. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so whenever you have a great number of business operation daily, so that such time we will be using this kind of software. So this is also a client-based software, contacts-based software we might call. And what happens whenever we are doing, we you can also call this one as a customizing software. So means I can customize it. So what is the requirement of my business? What is the main thing which I will be requiring? On that base, I will be using this particular software. That is the main reason we can also say this one as a customizing software. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, well, why it is used more today? So whenever I have the whenever when it comes to the large scale or a middle scale businesses, so they wanted to take all the financial statements not together. See, for example, if you take Tata only under the Tata group, can you give an example? What are all the business they might have?
Sir, steel,
Mm-hmm. Steel.
steel based thing, Tata
Mm-hmm.
tea, like
Okay.
the food products,
Okay.
then electronics things, sir.
Mm. Okay. So for example, they give the service, correct? They have service part. They also sell the goods. They have automobiles.
Sir.
They are into social media. Am I correct? They have construction.
Yes,
They have skills. So under one Tata groups, they are doing different types of business there. They also have IT sectors. They also have MNC sectors. So now what happens once every business, all of these companies, means all of the type of business is being manipulated under one group only.
sir.
So whatever the financial statement you take individually, that should be consolidated into one group.
Sir.
So now if I say if I give you the consolidated data, is it easy for you to summarize individually?
No, sir, that's not possible. Like,
It might possible, but it is very difficult because it's not.
difficult, sir, yeah.
Oh, no. So what happens that time, the one software which is used for the different types of business under one group, one organization. So they will generate individual financial statements. Everyone will generate their own individual financial statements. Now what I am able to see is like, so I can able to summarize my accounts in individual company, individual of business, so I may understand how it is running, which is running good, which is not running good, so which might be in the loss, which is in the profit. So I get the clear picture of that. So that clear picture I require when it comes to the software to show me the accounting statements. That clear picture will be reported, means the report will be given exactly from the SAP. So later I can consolidate into one to take a one ratio of the Tata groups. So to see everything individually, then I need to use some software which support that. That is the software where we will be using is SAP. So this is SAP. Understood?
Sir.
So now SAP is an enterprises resource planning system also. So what do you mean by this enterprises? I will explain you more about the ERP in the future slide. So what do you mean by this enterprises resource planning? You are going to enterprise everything into one organization level. So which will be possible to manipulate all the different types of accounting transactions in one particular business. So this is the possibility which we can do for the ERP. ERP is nothing but enterprises system. So by SAP AG, the company based out of the Waldorf in German. So what happens in SAP when they introduced the SAP, they mainly introduced from the means they derived the company from the AG. That was the company which were mainly used to stock tradings. Okay, so there what were happening in the sense they wanted to manipulate their business easily because they were having a number of company which were under the trade. So everything should be known, everything should be stored under the same data. Security level should be high because I cannot share. Say for example, if it comes to the Google, you have a Gmail ID.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know about the Google Drive.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now tell me the difference between the Google Drive and the memory card.
Sir, Google Drive, there, we can't able to, sometimes we can't able to download it. Just we can see it, but we can't download it.
No, you
And
can. Huh, okay. Memory
it's
card.
like compared, it's a highly secure, sir. But this Google Drive, where,
Okay, fine. So now memory card. You have the memory card, right?
it's
So your memory card has some data, you think. That data, is it possible for me to take unless you give me?
no, sir.
Google Drive. Drive is nothing but what? It is also storage device only, right? So it's like
Sir.
virtual storage device. Correct. You are going to store your PDF files, your images. We can store the images also, right? Documents you can
Yes,
store. The same thing you do in the memory card also. Memory card
yes,
you
sir.
can secured by yourself. It is your own. Nobody can't take anything unless you give them, correct? But your
Yes,
Google
sir.
Drive, Google is your company?
No, sir.
No. So then that is a what? You are taking the what access from the Google Drive to use their memory. In the sense, it is not yours. Going to share the information from them. So now what happens if you are storing the data either in your Gmail ID, either it is secured from the for the outsiders, but they can take your data, right? Can't they
Sir.
access? Google can't access your data.
They can, sir.
They can, right? Because they are itself is giving. See, someone's some. If I am keeping the things in my cupboard, it is secure because it's been secured. That's mine. But if I keep something in some other's cupboard, it is secured. No, either they
No,
can
sir.
open and see whatever it is in that. Correct.
Yes,
Because I'll
sir.
be every day always, I may not sit every day in front of that cupboard only, correct? So this SAP will support such kind of security, means you can have your own server where the data will be stored under one place only. But in other accounting software, what happens, you are going to share the server from their company. In the sense the data might be secured from your side, but from their end it might be not secure, means even that they can access it. So your data can be accessed from their company. So but when it comes to SAP, you can itself have the access level. That is the end-to-end solution which you can do it. So whatever the activities you do, that will be done under your own server. That server cannot be shared to someone else, or you are not taking the server from the other companies or something to use this SAP software. You will be having the complete organization level. So then you will be using that security level also will be given from this SAP. So the mainly for that reason they have introduced the software. So the company AG is not is called as Agnito Shell Shaft. According to the German language, SAP stands for, in the German, Systeme Anwendung und Produkte. This is in their data venture. This nothing but data processing. So this is the word which will be represented in the German, that is called SAP, and it in English we call that one as System Application Product in the data processing. Okay.
Sir.
So this is like highly successful. The SAP were like completely got more success, millennium success from the R3 level. So R3, what do you mean by R3? I'll explain it. So many different types of softwares which we have, like we have customer relationship management, that is CRM, we call it as SRM, we call XI, processing integration. So these are all the different types of softwares which they come across, but SAP is one of a good accounting and inventory software which will secure your data and be used for the large scale and the middle scale also. So when it comes to the complex management, and if you have an hierarchical of the business vendor one, then you will be using this SAP software to manipulate it. Okay, understood? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
SAP in and around of 1972 by the five former employees of IBM company. So the five former employees of IBM company introduced this SAP software in 1972. So they introduced one software that called as SAP R1. So what do you mean by this R1? R stands for real time data processing. That one is nothing but tier architecture. Okay. Now, so for example, if I consider laptop only, one laptop I have, correct? So in the laptop, you are able to see everything. So for example, I am showing you some PPT, PowerPoint presentation. That presentation will be shown from what? PowerPoint software, correct? It is an application.
Yes, sir.
Am I correct?
Yes,
So
sir.
that is being presented where? That is in the operating system, Windows. Correct.
Sir.
So I am storing this information in my R drive. Correct. So all three different types of function is being done under one device that is called laptop.
Okay,
Correct.
sir.
So with the system, a laptop which is doing three different types also means R1 is nothing but one system or one server will support three different types of function: database, application, presentation. So this is the concept which they have introduced under the R3. So three layers under the one tier architecture. What are all the layers which we have is presentation, application, and database. So now database is nothing but where you store the information of the these data. So will be under the database. That will be represented in the application. SAP software is a application. That application is been represented where? That is represented in the Windows operating system. So these all three will be working under one data only, one process only. See, for example, what happens if I am doing all those into one? Say for example, in your mobile only, if I am using three to five different types of application randomly, your mobile will be working good.
No, sir.
So if I am working three to four, more than that also, if I am working in the same one, what happens? It will get hang, means it will become slow. The processor will make you to slow. So even though if you have the advanced processor today, still if I am doing more things at once itself, it will be very difficult for me to do it. Correct? I may hang. So the humans itself, if I am reading all three different types of books together, it is difficult for me to do that. So I may not process it. So, but three different types of books capable, if it is given for the three persons, one after one they will be reading, that is easier. So the one person only don't want to remember all three textbook datas, so that has been divided. But in R1 what they did, in one server or a one system, all three different types of format were loaded. Okay, that time it will become very difficult for them to use. It will become slow, it couldn't be faster, so it was very difficult for them to process it. So that then they introduced this R2. R2 is nothing but SAP R2 real time two tier architecture. Okay, so R1 is nothing but real time data processing in one tier architecture. So R2 is nothing but real-time two-tier architecture. Okay, so what do you mean by this two-tier architecture? So here, if you observe, server 1 has a presentation and server 2 as a application and database. In the sense, what I am doing, presentations shows somewhere else, application and database is stored one place. Okay, see, now think that projector. So projector, if I am projecting, it will project on the projector screen, correct? So that application and database is from different computer, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that, like that, they introduced two servers. In two server, what they do, in one server they loaded the application and database. In another server they loaded the presentation. Means what happens when it is been divided, means little more faster than the previous one it working. Any doubts?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ask.
No, sir. No, sir. It's understood, sir.
Okay, okay. So server 1 is nothing but presentation, server 2 is nothing but application plus database. So what happens if I'm working in a two different types of platform, so it will become easy for me to work. So I'm not loading everything together. Individual is working. So for example, server one you consider as a presenter. So for example, me, so I am presenting you, you are storing the information whatever I teach it. You are one server and I am one server. So you need to do what is like, you need to store and you need to work, but I will only present. So now it is easy for everything to be gone. So if I only should do everything, in the sense it would be difficult. So that capability were given under the R2 two server they introduced. Here also what happens, in one server only two different types of functions has been loaded together. So that time again it will become slow or may not possible to process data faster. So they have come across to this R3, SAP R3. So R3 is nothing but what, real time three tier architecture. Okay, in three tier architecture they introduce three servers. The three servers also will be having three different types of layers. So one server has database, one server has application, the other one server has presentation. So what happens, everyone will be having a process, means individually they process to one organization. So it is become faster, means it will the probability of that will be increased, so the accuracy of that will be increased. So that is the main reason R3 were had a millennium success. So they had a millennium success because of this R3 SAP. So later what happened, they started to use this, many different types of companies, industries, and many international companies started to use this software to all the different types of process. So R3 was one of the millennium success they have found from the SAP. Okay, it is also client and server versions of the software they introduced. So the client can install the three different types of servers, the database, application, and presentation. Then he can use it. So that made him easy. So in the sense, what happens here, you can take on a concept of Google. Now Google is a one person who is sharing their server. Okay. Now what happens? He has the server, means I cannot access his server. In his server, I am using the application. So I am storing the data. So he is using, say for example, presentation is being given in my computer. My computer is not his, correct? So Google doesn't own my laptop. That presentation will be shown my computer. That application also being given from there. So either it might be web application or whatever that has been given. So the database, the data where I am storing is not storing in my computer. It is stored in the Google company. So in the Google Drive. So what happens, even though if I am accessing, I may not have the complete authority. Say now, for example, what happens? He will block me. Unless he unblock me, I may not at all possible to use. I may not able to take the data because the server is not mine now. So
Yes,
such
sir.
kind of concepts were introduced. Now when it comes to the large scale business or anything, So if they are being processing, say for example, the company will be working in a different manner. So branches will be somewhere else. In head office, everything will be stored. The data server will be kept in the head office. Nobody can't access it, but still they can see, they can use the software. So that mechanism was been introduced under the SAP R3. So one of the good and millennium success they bought from the R3 real time architecture 3 tier. So 3 tier in the sense 3 layers of the tiers which we have is database, application, presentation. The server 1 loads the presentation, server 2 loads the application, server 3 loads the database.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So SAP now has a ANA. Now what version we will be using is SAP ECC. ECC is nothing but ERP central component. Okay. So ERP
Yes,
central
sir.
component. So that is the versions which we will be using. S4 is nothing but ANA. So ANA is one of the high performance analytic applications. So what happens here in the sense, say for example, everything if I give you the code or whatever, so more than the code shortcuts than the other things, every options if it has been named in the name of buttons, it is easy for you to access. No. So that high performance has been given under the ANA, SAP ANA. So, but whenever if you wanted to learn everything, how it has been processed, it is good you to learn with the ECC, ERP in the sense, ECC is nothing but ERP central component. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So products of the ERP is like R3 and R3 Enterprises, SAP Business Suite, SAP ERP, Industry Solutions. So these are all the products of SAP they have. So where and all that in under the Industry Solutions, where and all that you will be using is like aerospace and defense, automotive, so banking, chemicals, consumer products, defense and security, healthcare, higher education, industrial machinery, insurance, life science, logistic service production. So like this, we will be using everywhere. So SAP will support in every platform to work the different types of business. So in and to manipulate the accounting financial statement under one organization. So that is the SAP. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So SAP module and integration. What are all the modules we have under the SAP? We have controlling, we have asset management, financial management, sales and distribution, and MM is nothing but material management, production planning, quality management, production planning, and project systems, plant maintenance. Plant maintenance will come under the MM only, human resources. So these are all comes under the SAP module. Okay.
Sir.
So what the in SAP we have three functions. The SAP are categorized into three core functions. The functions are logistics, financial, human resources. So logistics in the sense sales and distribution, material management, warehouse management, production planning, general logistics, quality management. Financial has financial accounting, controlling, enterprises controlling, investment management, and treasury. So human resources has personal administration and personal development. So these are all the three different types of functions which has been categorized under the SAP. So SAP also has a technical models that is ABAP. So that is nothing but advanced business application programming. So now in SAP only the user will be using the software. Not only user will use the software, that the person who also code what is required for the user will be under the SAP. So here both level of concepts will be running in the sense front end and the back end. So what do you mean by the front end? Front end is nothing but the end user. For example, you, me are called as the end users. So what do you mean by the end users? once the application is ready, the software is developed, that software will be used from us, correct? So we called as a end users. So SAP software is being developed will be used from us. The either it might be a client or someone who is working, an employer, anyone. They are the end users who work it. Now what happens if I wanted to process one particular information? So I may not find that one. So for example, have you ever heard about the factory calendar?
No, sir.
You have not heard about the factory calendar?
No, sir.
Okay. So now you say me, when it comes to the calendar, how many days it might be having the calendar?
Sir, per month, 30 days, 31 days.
So max it will be 30 to 31 days, correct? So
Yes,
will
sir.
you work 30 to 31 days?
No, sir. Some companies may like
Hmm.
Saturday, Sundays will be the weekend will be the leave, or some
Hmm.
companies Sundays will be the leave, and
Hmm.
here and there the government holidays. So exactly we won't work at like 31 days.
Correct. So now what happens when it comes to the IT sector, MNC sectors? Every weekend is holiday, Saturday and Sunday. Correct. If it comes to the government, government will have second Saturday, means alternative Saturdays will be holiday, and everyone will be having Sunday holiday. Some companies, say for example, this servicing shops like Big Bazaar, Reliance. So for what they do, they'll give week off. Within the week, they will be having holiday. Correct.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
means for they, that is based on employees. So some few for a few employees they will give on Mondays. Few employees they will give it on Tuesday. However, or the employee wants somewhere any other days he can take within the week. So, but that shop means the company still is running in that particular month. Now what happens if I take the Tata only? Tata will be working Tata Group. Under Tata Group, there is MNC, IT sectors. So they have servicing level, automobiles, everything they have. Now, if it comes to the IT sectors, they will give Saturday and Sunday holiday. Correct. If it comes to the manufacturing, they might have given only on Sunday. So if there is, a, say for example, Starbucks is also Tata Groups only. Now, Starbucks will be working all the 7 days of a week. Correct. But
Sir.
employee may not work. Now what happens when it comes to the data, when it comes if I wanted to feed some information, think that I have some purchase I have done some procurement. So yesterday I wanted to do that, but unfortunately I forgot. Okay, so yesterday was like Sunday. We consider today is Sunday, yesterday is Monday. So Monday, sorry, Saturday. Yesterday I wanted to do some transaction on Saturday, but unfortunately I forgot to post it. So, but I have a complete access to go for a company. Think I am the manager. So I have an access to go to the company. But there is someone who superior to me. I may have the access to go to the company, but I may don't have an access to do the transaction on the previous date to today's date. So my superior, my CEO or whoever that be the owner of the company, what he do, he need to understand under the employment management how it is happening. Even though if it is manager to the company, he is not the superior of that company. So what happens? He might have forgot the yesterday transaction to post. So what he do? He will go on Sunday to post. There will be a error. So you may not possible to post the transaction today. it is holiday. That holidays, that for that employee level of formats will be set from the ABAP programmers. So they will set that information and they will feed into the software. So now what happens, it has been secured. Now there will be no communication between the employee of the functional areas and employee of a technical models. So if I wanted to communicate with the technical modules people, I need to go to my superior only. Sir, I might have forgot to post the transaction yesterday, so it is not allowing me to post today, please can you give me the access. So if I ask, now my superior of the business can understand, okay, he is understanding what employee is making mistakes. So if the access is being given, means the date, there is no any date change or anything. If you want to post any days of transaction of any day, what happens, unless the employee say to the superior may not possible to know what he is doing and what he is not doing. But if I wanted to know what exactly things are happening, there is a support of the technical people also. So technical people will do the such kind of codings to that data, and they will be processing. So when it is been done on the user level, if they do any mistake or anything, it is easily possible to understand it. That is the main reason which we have the two different types of functions under the SAP. One is functional area, one is technical modules. So programming is also done by the backend users. So backend people is nothing but who code, who design the softwares. So on how the client requires. So after the requirement of my client, that will be developed and given to the end user citizens, the employees who you and me use the software. So these are all the main things which has been under the SAP software. That is the why reason SAP is in the first position today. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, for SAP Fee and Co is the main module which will be integrated to all the different types of modules. So, if there is no fee, they may not possible to do anything else. So, what are all the main things that I'll be doing under the fee? Fee is nothing but financial. So, if I am doing any transaction, if I wanted to maintain my book of account, what is the legal entity of your book of account? So when do
Sir,
you
can
do
you
it?
repeat?
So when do you do your budgeting?
Sir, at the beginning of the thing, sir, when before starting the business, before starting the business, we will be planning or we will be budgeting. Within this, we have to
Hmm.
do the thing.
Okay. When do you do auditing?
Sir, it dep- like at the end of the year or in mid also they will be coming, sir. Like mid
Okay.
or end.
But most it should be under the end of the year. End of the
End
year
of
in
the
the,
yes, sir.
do we do under the December?
Yes, sir.
Is it true? December do
No,
we?
no, 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 sir. It's like at the time of April, sir.
Okay. April. Excuse
March,
me.
March, April, sir. Like March, sir.
Yeah, March. Excuse me for 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. So when it comes to the yeah, what I was asking about the
Sir, like
budgeting.
audit, like
Mhm.
yes, sir, budgeting, auditing, sir.
So when it comes to the budget, so or audit, it should be end of the month or in the beginning of the month, correct? Sorry, beginning of the year or end
Yes,
of the
sir.
year. So
End of the year.
which month is the start of the year?
Sir, April is the start of the year and the end will be the March, sir.
Okay, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. So now whenever if we are doing the auditing or budgeting, either it should be month beginning, I mean year beginning, or it should be end of the year. So the end of the year is nothing but like December, right? According to the calendar.
Yes, sir. According to calendar, it's December.
So according to the calendar, month beginning of the month is January. But in India, we don't start anything in the January. We start from the April and we ends from the
Yes,
March of the next.
March.
So year we will, yeah, that year will be not 1 year. So if it will not end the 2021 only, it will end if it starts in 2021, it will end by the 2022. Okay, so this financial year dates, this financial counting dates and all, I don't possible to do under any other modules. So who does that will be done from the FICO modules only. So in the financial, they will be creating all the dates, financial dates. These are all been done under the financial accounting only. So for example, if I wanted to create the vendor details, my supplier details, that supplier detail if I am creating, or the chart of account will be represented, no, like when it comes to the business sheet, where that sundry creditor account will be represented, balance sheet, in the balance sheet. Yeah, tell me, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So in
Hello.
the sundry, yeah, in the balance sheet, sundry creditors will be
Sir, is
represented.
in credit in liability, sir.
uh, that will be represented in the liabilities. So liability is a
Liability
chart.
side, current liability.
Yeah. So liability is a chart of account. That chart of account will be created under the fee financial. So financial is a basic. So the base of the all the other modules of SAP is FICO.
Yes, sir.
So these are all the things which we will be doing under the financial. Okay. But ours will come under the logistics. So logistics is nothing but sales and distribution, material management, warehouse management, production planning, general logistic, quality management. So material management under the logistic. So we will be doing the logistic. So few things of the financial accounting also we will be integrating from that financial accounting part, like fee. We'll integrate few things in the and we will be doing the part. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So any doubts here?
No, sir.
So these are all been integrated from the ERP. So what do you mean by this ERP? ERP is nothing but enterprises resource planning. So it is a business software system that support the enterprise entire business and the enterprises throughout the project life cycle. So before mainly this ERP were introduced in the form of MRP. The later when it comes to the businesses in the different organization, they introduce the CRP level. So E is nothing but enterprises. Enterprises of what? Huge business organization. So enterprise is the huge business organization. Uh, Resources what? Resources the money, manpower, material, machinery, marketing, and methods. These are all comes under the resource. Then planning. Planning is nothing but effective utilization and the optimization of the resource. This is come under the planning. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when it comes to this ERP software, what is the history of that? So ERP systems took 2 years to emerge and is still evolving. Now what happens, it every day to day they are transforming into a different level. So they have the challenging part to do the different types of softwares into the market. So it emerged with a different level of concepts. In 1970, manufacturing chain was the center of the business operation before in 1970s. So manufacturing was like it was a center of the business operation. So that time what happened, it was very difficult for them to lead the development. So that time they introduced this MRP. MRP is nothing but manufacturing resource planning. So they resource it everything under the MRP level, then they do it. So after that, when in the 1980s, so they focused more on the measurements. That time they evolved the second phase of the MRP, that we call it as ERP, Enterprises Resource Planning. In the sense, it is not only meant for the manufacturing part, it is also meant for all the different types of chain. So that has been under the ERP. In 1990s, ERP were started using a multi-module application to increase the organization process. So though they integrated different modules, different organization business modules to lead the evaluation of the ERP system. So this is the main thing that ERP were introduced. This ERP only the supportive for the SAP software. So they got a support from this ERP system to develop the R3 level, R1, R2, R3 level of the business to the organization. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is the abbreviation of SAP? Yeah. What is the abbreviation of SAP?
Sir, sorry, sir, it was in mute. Uh, the system, application, and product, sir.
Yeah, it is system application product. So what is ERP?
Enterprise resource planning, sir.
So it is enterprise resource planning.
Plan.
So why do we need ERP software? So ERP is integrated system of different business process. Company has a different department like sales department, production department, material management, finance department, and so and so. These are all they will be shared under one common database only. So that integration for the department they introduce this SAP. Okay, they from the ERP. Okay, ERP systems, yeah, is integrated system of a different business processing. If a company has a different departments like sales department, production department, material management, finance department, so these are all well supported. ERP, we have an integration of all the departments and they all use a common database. So they use a single common database to all the different types of process. So we can have standardization of system across the location. MNC companies can have a different plans in different locations with the different systems, but they are integrated into one. So ERP systems helps to have a better controlling over the different process. So an ERP is integrated systems. It helps to provide the better reporting. So mainly it will helps for me to better reporting. So as I talked in the before, so reporting level. So every department I need a single individual financial statement to consolidate to one. So before consolidating, I will be able to see what is the exact thing is happening under the different department. So these main things can be seen from the ERP level. So this SAP is also been developed in the for help of ERP. That is the version which we call it as SAP ECC. So what is the abbreviation of ECC? What is the abbreviation of ECC? Hello.
Sir, it's a central component.
ECC means what?
ECC means it's a ERP central component, sir.
Yeah, ECC is nothing but ERP central component. So this ERP is been integrated for the SAP software also. So in the same name, they developed the software which will be used in a different standard system. Okay. So, common ERP software modules are sales and distribution, purchase order, finance and accounting, manufacturing resource planning, customer relationship management, human resources, procurement, marketing. These are all the common ERP software modules which we will be using. So this is also been integrated into. Okay. So why ERP? So before ERP, what I need to do is like everything I need to do in an individual itself. So for example, so if I wanted to purchase something in the sense, now you have Flipkart, Amazon, everything. Now what happens by sitting at one place, any brand of things you can purchase. So but before what I need to do, I need to go the particular place for the particular brand. There I order, there I purchase. So there were lots of procedure to do. But if I have such kind of ability, means that client based softwares, if I have, what happens under one only I can do all those things. So before ERP, what I do, I order, there would be sales, there would be production, there would be logistics, there would be billing, then it has been given. But in after ERP, what happens? Everything is being shared under one common database that is called ERP. So you have a client, you have a suppliers, which has been come under one place. So you do sales, you do service, you do data analysis, you do finance, you do manufacture, you do inventory and supply, you do human resources, the salary processing, everything has been under one software only. That is the why we require ERP. So it is a single application integrated software programming. It is a single database system. ERP systems allows to share the information and communicate it more effectively. It automates customer orders, order fulfillments, billing, shipping, and tracking, so on. These are all the important things of the ERP.
Okay, sir.
So why? What are all the what is SAP MM? SAP MM is nothing but material management. Is one of the important modules of SAP ERP softwares. So SAP the MM application module supports the procurement and inventory functions occurring in day-to-day business operation. So MM module contains many aspects such as purchase, goods receiving, material storage, consumption-based planning, inventory, and it integrates with SAP modules such as fee, controlling, SD, quality management, plant maintenance, production planning, and warehouse management. These are all integrated with the MM. So few things I will teach you, but SD and other things we may not go through with it. The production part of it we will be having in the MM. So procurement we do procuring and quote we give the purchase order details, goods receiving, material storage, consumptions. These are all we do in the MM part. So day-to-day business operations, which mainly supports with the inventory level, all the inventory level of this MM we will be using. Okay. So integration F5 fee I will teach you. Plant I will teach you. So plant also we included. FI also we will include it. Few things we will include and integrate the SAP modules. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So your understanding, you feel am I going fast or too slow?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. You mean no means what? I'm going too slow.
Uh, it's not like that, sir. It's you're going perfect, sir.
Okay. So your
And
understanding.
I'm sorry, sir, if at all I'm not answering or something. I'm not answering proper. I'm so sorry, sir.
That's fine. That's fine. No worries. No worries. That's okay. But if you feel I'm going fast or you may not understand, stop me there. I'll try to repeat it again.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. So any doubts still here?
No, sir. It's all okay, sir.
Okay. So once again I'll explain. SAP is the base of the FICO. SAP stands for System Application Product and Data Processing. R3 system is supported in the SAP now. So R1 has only one server with three different types of layer. R2 has two server. So one server supports one layer, another two supports with the two different types of layer. R3 has every layer has their own server, so which is faster capability to do all the different types of accounting things. So it has different types of modules. So here we have three functional areas and technical terms. So logistic, financial, human resources. MM comes under logistics. So ABAP programmer nothing but who do the technical terms of the SAP. So it is integrated by ERP, enterprises, resource planning. So that has been the second phase of MRP, manufacturing chain. So and requirement of this SAP ERP is mainly based on different modules which I can work under the one department. So SAP has a common ERP software modules. So before ERP we used to do everything individual. Now we do everything in one. So that is the ERP. MM is nothing but material management, which is important modules of SAP ERP. So where inventory functions will be occurring in a day-to-day business operation will be done under the MM, material management.
Yes, sir.
You have doubts?
Sir.
So this is the theory part. So in the next class from tomorrow, I will start the practical session as well as some theory. You have a software. Have they downloaded this
Yes,
software?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I will also show you that practical level, how to switch on this SAP software, everything. So, and we will
Okay,
graduate the practical sessions also. Okay.
okay, sir.
So for today we will wind.
Sir,
Yeah.
while doing the practical, shall I log in through the phone and shall I do it in the thing, or first I will be listening to your class, then I will be doing, sir?
We do it in the same manner. Like first I will teach you. Okay. So
Okay,
once
sir.
I teaching, then you do in your system. Okay. So like 40 or 45 minutes I will teach you. Other left of the minutes you do it. It is your however it is easy for you, you can do. If your the mobile is
Okay,
easy, everything is visible, you log into
no, sir,
mobile and
that's what I'm asking, sir. If I want to do simultaneously with two minutes, I have to log in through the mobile and I have to do it in the same in the laptop also, no, sir.
yeah. So your means like how it is easy for you, you do it like that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So if you are opening in through the laptop only, you can resume and you can do it. But if you wanted to see or if you want to ask a doubts or anything, if you want to see those how it has been done, then you gradually do with the mobile and laptop. So if the screen is not visible properly in the sense, you better go with the laptop. However, it is easy for you, you do it in that manner.
Okay, sir.
So first practical, we'll see how it goes. Then gradually we continue, which is better.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. So for today we will wind up.
Okay,
So
sir.
tomorrow I will continue.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.